Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I am your host, Corbin, with my co-host, Tate. And today we have on the most wonderful Loco Lizards. This is Chief from Loco Lizards.
Yes, indeed. The life of the party.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's rocking the Loco Lizards hoodie itself. It's amazing.
Representing.
All the branding.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, gotta get it in there.
Now, can you buy that on your website, or do you guys have a website for merch yet?
No, but this is where it's from. It was a sample.
Gotcha.
So I just got them delivered this week, so we're just in the process of
Nice.
of working through that. There's got some joggers, a t-shirt, some other bits and bobs, but yeah. So
That's how I am too. It looked just like the All King stuff. I want to put it on literally all my clothes. I'd put it on my underwear if I could.
Yeah, for sure. I know you can get socks.
Yeah, you can.
Get socks. So I need to get some caps made, some snapbacks. So, but yeah, I'll dig yours. It's cool.
Thanks. What have we been up to? Well, first off, congratulations. You guys are top 5 in market volume right now on Zeus.
Yeah.
Which is stellar.
Yeah. There's some big competition, isn't there? Hank was done amazing. I caught his podcast with you guys and stuff like that. So, just blowing everything out of the water. But he's been working hard. He's an intelligent guy. But yeah, we have been minted for just under a couple of months now. It's coming up to 2 months. We've just been kind of grinding away and trying to lay the foundations of the project now post mint, because everything leading up to your mint is all about your mint, and then obviously once you've sold out successfully and that's your first aim and achievement, then you kind of have to roll out your project then. So we're in that space of rolling out our project. Our project is aimed at bridging Web 2 and Web 3 through content creation and through creating a brand. So for those who don't know, who are watching it, we represent the kind of clubbing and party industry. So more kind of like house music, tech house, just general party vibes and things like that. What we are aiming to do is create content, daily content that we're going to be pumping out there, which will be going on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, and we'll have presenters out there at parties and at clubs asking people questions, silly questions, getting silly answers, and looking to grow the brand through a way that people in Web 2 are familiar with, but obviously lead them back to Web3 and to Loco Lizards. So we've just been a lot of organising and getting people, the right presenters, getting those arranged, getting the branding, getting the mics and things done. So these are coming. So they'll be interviewing people, in the street, outside clubs and things like that. So we've just been organising a lot of that really, which is taking up more time and headspace than I thought it would, but it's very, very important to get this right, because we're getting one chance at doing this properly. So that's what I've been doing really.
I saw that you had Luciana, a #1 Billboard artist, give you guys that shout out at one of her most recent concerts.
Yeah, so that
was really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. So they're another NFT project that are just going through a bit of a relaunch called Clubbers. Luciana is the co-founder of those, and she's also an artist. And then they are kind of reached out to Richter, who is one of our co-founders, and he's kind of helping with them to give some advice and whatnot. And so we've got some great links there with those guys, and they're a great team. But really, really pleased to see that.
Yeah, it's definitely helps just with marketing in an overall expansive route. I mean, you want to seek all sectors of the marketing space,
of course, yeah.
And so with that, it really just helps with just exposure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, what we're aiming to do is to be pumping out high quality daily content, because you want that continued exposure constantly, and people want to see you busy and active. So, at the minute, it may look like we've been a little bit quiet just because obviously we're not pumping things out, but soon, in like the next month, you're just going to see it all the time. Local lizards, all be branded up. Like, so people then start to recognise that, because if you put out one piece of content and you don't put any out for a while, it just becomes so diluted, and you're going to miss it. But if you're consistent with what you're putting out, like you guys, you consistently put out your podcast, that's how it grows. That's how you get your recognition.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do. We are going to be building our own platforms on TikTok and kind of YouTube Shorts and Instagram, but we also will be leveraging our partner Ibiza Bible. So they are the largest Ibiza community online in Web 2. So they have like over 500,000 followers on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So we will be growing our own platforms, but we will also be sharing content on their platforms as well to obviously grow the brand on an already existing community. So we've got like a two-pronged attack, really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for people who don't know, do you mind giving like a little rundown on what Ibiza actually is?
Yeah, so Ibiza is Ibiza is the party capital of the world. It's a small island, small Spanish island in the Balearics. It's probably about 45 minutes from north to south and east to west. And from kind of April, May till September, October, all the biggest DJs descend there. All like millionaires, billionaires, people on yachts, celebrities, sports stars, normal people. Everyone just goes crazy for about 5 or 6 months. So it's a focal point of partying. So this project has a huge tie and partnership with Ibiza, as well as next summer comes, we're going to hit other islands as well, which I can talk about. But we've got this huge connection with them. But as our project's minted out, Ibiza summer has come to a close. So we now move our content creation to the UK, because obviously that's where we're based. But if we would have been like at the start of the summer, we would have had all summer there to get all this content. So what we're doing now is we're building through the winter. Obviously, getting everything that we need to get in line, getting the daily content out there, building up the platforms. So by the time that May comes next year and the Ibiza season starts again and all the party islands around Europe start up, we send content creators to them all branded up Loco Lizards. Can I swear? No, can't swear.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you asked if you swore. No. Yes, you can swear.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. I don't know what to swear now. Getting a shitload.
No, yeah. By all means, this is not kid friendly.
Cool. Getting a shitload of content, basically. So this is a long-term project, We're investing in this. I'm not, a young lad. I'm an older guy. This is what I'm trying to create, a life out of this now. So, and there's a huge future with it. So so we'll prep it May. Obviously, we would like to have X amount of followers on all these different platforms, the brand to be out there, be really consistent within Hedera, be really consistent within Web3, and then really blow it up next summer. So that's the aim.
That's a great strategy and way of executing things. I mean, could you possibly name some of the influencers that you have already backing you by chance?
In terms of musicians and people like that? Yeah. So we're not necessarily backed by any artists. Obviously, Luciana gave us a shout out, but we're affiliated with Ibiza Bible, and Ibiza Bible has quite a bit of sway as a brand.
Gotcha.
Because obviously it's the main thing. So they put content out, people see it. So people like to see content on there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So when May comes, we can leverage that a lot more, because on this tiny island with so many creative people and musicians, and so the access to that just becomes 10, 100-fold. But in the winter now, we're obviously just building out. We're still going to be putting out loads of content and things like that, but the access to those really big people will come a little bit further down the line.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So, Chief, what is your exact role for Loco Lizards? Are you the CEO of the project, or are you are?
Yeah, CEO. So it was my brainchild, I'd say.
Nice. That's amazing.
Pulled the team together. I was messing around with Sol NFTs, like a lot of people, I guess, around this time last year, probably. Got in, made some money, lost some money, just trading, basically, had to play around. And then in the new year, I thought, I want to do a project, but I realised that you need community to create a good project. So I looked at my network, my friends, and Ryan, who is the founder of Ibiza Bible. I thought he's got an existing community there of like 500,000 people. It's also an industry that I know very, very well because I used to live in Ibiza a few years ago now, before I got married and had kids. I used to live there. Did like 5-6 summers there. And that's where I met Ryan, because we used to run like a little workers' party out there at a bar. And, at the time I thought it was like the biggest party ever, but it was only a small little bar. But, I'd achieved, I'd made it, I was running this little party in Ibiza. So we became friends, we reconnected. I said, look, I know you don't know what I'm talking about Web3 and NFTs. He's heard of them, obviously heard a bit about crypto. I said, let's do this. So the Loco Lizards, the lizard is actually styled on an Ibiza wall lizard, which is like a native lizard to Ibiza. So that's where the lizard comes from. Then the Loco comes from the Spanish for crazy. So that's where the Loco Lizards comes from.
It's very clever.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of the traits are obviously party traits. The DJ decks. There are some Ibiza specific ones in there. There's like aviators with the sunset shining in them, which Ibiza's iconic for. But this is, while it is tied to Ibiza, it is a global brand. There's nothing stopping us from going to Zante next summer, or Ryan Appa next summer, or we've got a presenter we're trialing who's in America at the minute. I'm not sure whether we'll use him or not. He's just going to generate some content for us, and we'll see. So, and then he's going to Thailand as well. So we may get content from these places, but it just depends if we can get that quality that we want. I've got a team in the UK who I know can deliver the quality that we want. So yeah.
Wow.
Sure. Yeah, and it also helps that DJ Richter is like in all of the parties that happen in Discord. It's like every time somebody's like, "Hey, we're gonna have a party such and such time," I'm like, "Hey, is Richter gonna be there?" Yes. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah. Well, that's where it came from. So do you guys know that we were on Sol originally, marketed on Sol?
No,
I did not.
Okay, so a bit of a backstory here, which is interesting because obviously there's a lot of cross-chain stuff that's going on now, which has happened in the last week or two, really, hasn't it? It just started popping off. But we had a bit of foresight and vision a couple of months ago to see this happening. So we were marketing on Sol only because I only knew Sol and ETH, really. I didn't even know HBAR NFTs existed 3 months ago. And Richter came on board as a community manager while we were on Sol, and I saw that Sol was becoming quite stagnant. The community aspect of it was kind of getting a little bit lost. And he said, "Oh, come and check this space out." He said, "Let me get you into this Discord." He said, "It's crazy." He said, "I'm not going to tell you what happens." Anyway, so I goes in this Discord. Next thing, all these emojis are spamming me, Chief, welcome, Chief, blah, 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 blah. So it was Metavision's Discord, and he had like this hype squad, and they were all just like banging me with loads of Chiefs, and like, I was just like, the welcome I got was just like, this is another level. I have not seen this before. I want a piece of this. I want to be involved in this. So it made me look into HBAR NFTs then. So I kind of started looking into Hedera. A while back, when I was watching crypto videos, I'd come across Encash. So I'd seen some of the videos and heard about it, but I'd never really paid too much attention to it. But then I was kind of, after this welcome, I was kind of forced almost to look into it. And then I started to see about the Global Governing Council, the technology, the cost, it's carbon friendly, everything about it. And I was just like, and also that it reminded me a lot of the Sol space a year ago when I first got involved, trading there. And I was just like, I says to Richard, I'm taking the project to HBAR, and he's like, I don't know, do you think we should? It's not big enough, and blah blah. And I was like, yeah. I was like, we're doing it. Like, my mind had just switched straight away, and that was it. So he was like, right, got him bullish on it. And we brought it over. Ran a really, really good marketing campaign. And I think the quality of the art, it speaks for itself. Our artist Trick Nine,
definitely,
who's who's an established street artist and artist in the UK. He because the art was good and we had kind of everything prepped from when we were marketing on Sol, so we were just able to implement it in the right way.
Yeah.
And it went really, really well. And obviously, so I actually we've been minted out for 2 months, but I actually only ever heard about HBAR NFTs 3 months ago. And now I'm just full.
Wow.
Now I'm a HBAR maxi, So.
Yeah, now you're fully dove in and converted.
Yeah.
Were you guys at the Genfinity space today by chance?
Yeah. I was listening in. We weren't a guest, but I was listening to it.
Lehman was there.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was amazing to see.
It was good to see.
I wasn't there whenever he was in the spaces, but I saw a bunch of screenshots from other people like the Ruler and stuff sitting right next to him.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's but that's what I like about this space as well. And there are a lot of OG projects who are doing amazing and continue to do amazing. There's new projects like ourselves who we're trying to make our own mark as well. But it's still small enough but growing that if you can do a good job, then you will get that recognition. Like with the OG projects, they're doing a good job, so they get the recognition. And from Hedera or Hashback Wallet, as you all grow and you all grow together, it's a brilliant time to get in, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's getting loads of cross-chain attention now, because people are seeing,
the community. They're seeing how strong the community is, and they're seeing how family based it is. Nobody is against each other in this space.
No.
For Hedera specifically, and everybody works together to help build whatever they need built, and it's really just a strong family at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. It's so on Sol you would get like DAOs and things like that, and but they would be very. There's a couple of good DAOs, like DJnomics DAO, which was open for a lot of people and people could go in. But really, it was kind of project, they kept to themselves. Whereas here, projects will kind of work together, do things together, share spaces together. And I see that a lot more on Hedera than what we did there. As it grows, but hopefully that doesn't become diluted. But definitely at the moment, it's very community centric, and ultimately that's what NFTs are at this moment in time. To do it's about harnessing that community and and then creating those utilities around that.
Yeah. There's, speaking of utilities, I mean, there's tons of innovation happening right now in the space. It's really cool to see. So obviously you guys are focusing on music and live venues and the whole ecosystem like that, right? And then you have, like, for instance, Vicente with Vicizi is also focused on music, but from a totally different aspect of like helping new artists, gain footing in the industry and creating like his own NFT system. It's cool. It's really cool, really nice to see.
Yeah, and they've got that live, I can't remember what it's called, the live platform or something with HBAR Punks, which I'm really hyped to see them roll out, which is the metaverse, and doing those live events. So that is super cool. A lot of exciting stuff going on.
Without a doubt. And I mean, like you were talking about comparison between Sol and HBAR. I mean, I feel like a lot of these people from the Solana network and other networks that aren't already based out of HBAR are just realizing that community base, and they realize how necessary it is for a project to succeed.
Yeah, definitely. And it's you have to keep innovating. You have to keep thinking of different ways to add value, and you can't always think that you're right, or you've got to be open to change or adapt as you go forward, and you recognize where things work or where things don't work, and constantly try and look for those gaps, because there's so many gaps because it's such a new market overall. So like we recognised that we probably want to add some more utility in from a kind of a Web3 point of view, because we're very focused on connecting Web2 with Web3. So our content strategy, and growing the brand there, I think we're going to nail it. I'm pretty confident on it.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to start adding in some more utility on the Web3 side. It's not in the white paper, and I'm not going to say what it is now because, we want to over-deliver, basically. But yeah, we're gonna bulk that out as well. So there's so many plates spinning. To get this right and to pull this off, where you can have a brand that's recognised by people in Web2, and you've got supporters and holders who are happy in Web3, because it's not really been done. Let's get it straight. Even, the biggest collections, whether it's on Sol or ETH or wherever, you'd say, like, if you look at none of them have TikToks, some of them have Instagrams, but they don't have that many followers on Instagram in comparison to some influencers on Instagram and stuff like that. Not really penetrated YouTube. So these are the Web2 platforms where there's so many people, to be able to onboard. But if you go to them straight away and just be like, NFTs, it'll be turned off because they might have a pre-opinion of NFTs. They might think it sounds too complicated. So if you kind of go at them in a way that they become familiar with your brand or recognize your brand, and then they trust you as a brand, then that kind of should lead in. So that's the kind of aim that we're going for.
It really just comes down to simplifying things for the average consumer.
And
to make it just understandable for Web3 base.
Yeah, exactly. Because, even my wife, she understands, but she doesn't really understand what it is that we do, Just say, like, oh, what are you doing today? And I'm just like, oh, this. And it's like, oh, Like, and my friends, a lot of my friends, and they get it, but they don't get it. Because unless you're spending every day in this,
unless you're obsessing over it, then you won't understand it truly.
No, and it moves so fast. So you'd be like, oh, and now this is happening, and this project's doing this, and it's just like, you've got to be obsessed with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think one thing that would really, really help Hedera is having one sort of breakout success. So if you look at Ethereum with obviously Bored Ape Yacht Club, there are tons of influencers that had set their NFTs as their profile picture, and there was that whole controversy with MoonPay and do they actually own them, and we could be here for an hour about it, but still, nonetheless, people heard about it. That's the big thing. Even people who aren't into technology or into crypto or anything like that. People know what it is.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Exactly.
So Hedera definitely needs something like that, whether it's you guys or somebody else. Like I think you guys have a very, very strong use case and might be one of the first to do that. But who knows? I think it would be good for everybody.
Yeah, and that's it. It's, because, and that's why we say, we're not a tech brand. We are not a tokenomics project. We are a cultural brand. That is what we are attempting to do. We're attempting to kind of be that kind of breakout project, or that project that people recognize. So if you go down the street and you ask someone, have you seen Doodles before NFT? Now, they're one of the biggest NFTs in the world. Their valuation is ridiculous. I'm sure they had like a seed funding round recently and they got like 70 million. Go and ask your neighbours, do they know what Doodles are? They probably won't,
Yeah, no, they won't know.
That's just saying that the NFTs and Web3 is here, and our neighbours and our Web2 community are here, So it's about how do people recognise that? Now, they've obviously got a lot of money because that's what they're going to focus on, is creating this, whether it's on TV or TV series or in magazines or whatever it is they're going to do with all this shitload of money, they're going to make it recognisable brand out of it, because that's they've got the money to be able to do that now. So in our small way, we've niched to kind of clubbing, house music and that side of things. So if we can kind of penetrate that and become the first NFT to represent that scene, then that's what we're aiming to do. And at the minute, there isn't any other competition doing that who has kind of profile picture art like we have, who's making the moves that we're making now in terms of getting the content lined up and everything like that. So, while this is why it takes time. So, and that's what I'm saying. So if we spend these next kind of 5 to 6 months building out our Web2 platforms, building out our Web3 community, by the time it comes to May next year, we'll have a really solid brand to take back to Ibiza or around the party islands in the summer and get everyone to see it. So that's the plan anyway.
And that would be very exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but
nothing's going to be easy in this space.
No. But that is the goal, basically. That's the thought that's in my head, and that's the one I'm trying to execute.
And that's good. And it's very good to see that you have a vision on your mind. You're not just going into it blindsided with no vision at all.
No. And the thing is that we talk about how projects can generate money. I believe that you create a strong enough brand, you're going to create lots of different partnerships and open up lots of different revenue channels. Some that you might not even know exist at the present. But that's where things come along the line. So whether that's through other projects sponsoring your brand or leveraging your brand to do other things, for us it's about creating a recognizable brand, and then and going from there basically.
Wow. So do you have any more artwork coming out down the line by chance?
So we would like to do a second drop, but we'll not do a second drop until I feel that I'm happy with the first and where the projects are, where the floors are, where the community's at. So next year sometime.
Makes sense.
Probably before Ibiza summer. So before May. I'm not sure when.
Gotcha.
Probably closer to May. But we're just focused on rolling this out now. We've rewarding our whales with customs was one of the things that we did. So we're just working on those at the minute. We just dropped some kind of seasonal Halloween ones. I don't know if you've seen them, but if you go on our Twitter, we've just dropped those. Just 3 that we're gifting to certain holders within our community. And we will do that. And we've got some other kind of plans. But in terms of selling a drop, probably, towards the middle of next year.
Not anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon.
Yeah. How do you think the most recent drop did out the gates from start to now?
From start to now. So obviously not as well as no, that's the wrong thing to say. The volume was good, considering how many we minted at the time, and obviously coming into Hedera as a new project. So there's a lot of people who didn't think that we would mint that amount out at that price at that time. So, pre-Hungary and stuff, at that moment, it was a record-breaking mint on Hedera, and, so it did really, really well. Then the volume has been good. It's kind of dropped off a little bit recently, but I would expect that because we are in a building phase. Soon it's going to become visible. At the minute, we're just kind of plowing away. So obviously, you always want your floor to be higher than the mint price. At the minute, it's a little bit below, but I think it's 600 at the minute. We minted at 750. It's about 150 HBAR. It's a few dollars. It's it's not.
It's nothing serious.
It's nothing.
And it's just paper hands.
Yeah. And it's but the thing is, we've not even started rolling out our marketing strategy yet. So so I'm not concerned, because once we do, and if we get that right, then the rest will come. And once I'm happy with that, then we'll do the other drop. But there's just a lot of things to learn, and obviously, the Hedera ecosystem is still growing, so there is not loads of liquidity pumping around in it. Hungary's done amazing, and took a lot of liquidity in Hedera, brought a lot in, so and still doing amazing. A lot of the OG projects, will still get that volume, but this is why it's important to kind of bring in new volume and new money, from cross chain. Otherwise,
the Hedera heat wave, baby.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Hungry heat wave now, isn't it?
You got that right.
I think we had the Hedera heat wave, and and then it was kind of, and now it's the Hungry heat wave. So
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes next, to be honest, because obviously there's a few kind of projects that people have got their eyes on and things, but which project is going to be the next to capture that kind of hype at that size of Hungary, or is there going to be?
You haven't heard?
Pardon?
You haven't heard?
Go on.
The Alt Kings are up next.
Oh wow! Are you doing a drop?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Soon.
Cool.
Soon, very soon.
Oh well, there you go. That's the next one.
Blue chip NFT on the way.
Yeah.
No, we are doing a mint eventually down the line, a couple months from now, probably around December. But there's a lot that we want to sort out, and we want to make sure that we do right before we just release an NFT project out to the public. We want to make sure that there's some sort of way that we're able to utilize a system on getting the initial investment that these investors invest into us back to them.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
If that makes sense,
Yeah. You need to have a solid plan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But for the sake of securities, there's no promised value.
Yeah, that's it. No, it's. I mean, you can edit it out anyway. It's being a founder and being an NFT project owner creator is not an easy task
Not
or an
at
easy
all.
job. So anyone entering, and going to do that, don't underestimate the size and scope of it, because in a normal business, you may have a shareholders meeting once a year, twice a year. In NFTs, you have your shareholders meeting every day, because you're constantly accountable to your community and your floor price and your volume, and, while trying to run your project. And so you've just got to focus on, you've got to have your plan, know exactly what you want to do before you do your mint, and then and then execute it, and obviously adapt along the way, and you see things that work. But yeah, it's depending on the size that you're going for or what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think that is why you see so many projects fizzle away, or rogue or whatever, because the people who behind it just probably can't cope with it, because it is.
And they just give up on it.
Yeah, because when I think back, obviously some would just do it for the money and get the money and get out.
Yeah,
I think some,
without a doubt.
Yeah, I think some have good and the best interest, but don't realise the scope of it. So that's one thing I knew before getting into this, is that it's a huge commitment, and that's why you've got to think long term, basically. And if you're putting yourself out there, your faith and yourself, and you've got to, and you're accountable to that project. I love it.
It can be dangerous,
Yeah,
if you don't do it right.
Yeah. Of course. I think in the early days, Frank de God, he was getting death threats and stuff. Like now they're the number one project, but he, they did a few things at the start that people weren't agreeing with. He took a lot of heat, adapted, had to adapt, and now obviously look what he's getting, and now he's getting heat again as a number one project because he's, he supported the cut of royalties. He's in a difficult place, he's got investors from like Magic Eden and things like that, but it's, so as an NFT creator or project owner, there's always so many different moving parts. And just when you think you're top of the tree, like Frank de God's on Sol is, things can change again. He's still top of the tree, but you're getting shit from a different angle now that you didn't even know was coming. So, you've got to be resilient, kind of got to be adaptable, and just go for it.
And it's also about how you react.
Yeah, exactly.
To that, to the criticism.
Yeah, it's all about the. I think it was Jerry Seinfeld that said this. In comedy, it could also apply to NFTs as well, as being a creator of dodging laser beams.
Yeah.
So
sure.
like, in comedy, you got to like sort of toe the line. Is this joke okay? How is the room looking? Like, can I do this type of thing? It's the same thing with NFTs too. How is my community going to respond to this? Can I make this drastic change that may or may not be good?
Yeah. I think as long as you're showing up and being active and doing what you can do, your community will generally support you in some ways. Some might just floor you, and get rid of your NFTs. It's fine. That's what people are going to do. Some might flip because they need the money or whatever. But your core community, if you are showing that you are trying to make it work and they're invested in you, in financially, but also as a person and a project, if they think you're trying to do the best for the project, then generally I think they would support you. And that's what I've seen in other projects in the past, because it's a new space, isn't it? Like if there's an NFT,
generally speaking, it's a new space.
Yeah.
NFTs have been around for a while, but they haven't really been picked up upon until these last 2 years, really.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And a lot of the people new in NFTs, it's a new space for them.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot who've been around for the last year or whatever, but there's a lot of new people as well. But yeah, it's definitely interesting and exciting.
Very exciting.
I'm excited.
Is there anything?
Drop.
Oh yeah.
You want
to see a sneak peek?
Yeah. Any alpha?
No alpha yet, but I want to. I was just speaking to Corbin about it. I kind of want to. So here's a little sneak peek of the artwork.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cool.
Some crowns, a bunch of different types of variants of crowns and stuff.
Nice.
We just tweeted that out on Twitter.
Okay.
But Yeah, there's nothing too crazy yet.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's just really in the works. We want to make sure that we do things right before we do things at all.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, the Hedera community has a great family backing behind them, more or less. I mean, it's really a really strong community, and it seems as if people already support us out the get-go with our podcast.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. That helps out a lot.
Yeah. Well,
regardless,
you're helping creators like us to get our message out. So, when it comes to you minting, obviously locals are going to be on your side and help you. Hangry's going to be on your side and help you, whoever else, because you built that time up and spoken about your projects and things like that. So, and that's how community builds at the end of the day, isn't it? And how brands and businesses make partnerships and stuff. So, it's just all on a human level, isn't it?
Without a doubt. Yeah, at the end, and it's also more or less like just a business connection. It's just networking at the end of the day. You're just networking with like-minded individuals. Like, I love doing this because I'm talking to people who actually know the same stuff as me.
Yeah.
Or even more than me,
I met Richter the other day for the first time because he only lives like 20 minutes away, which is just purely coincidental. So we met up with him. We went to Frankie and Benny's, which is like an Italian. I don't know if you guys have got that over there.
I've heard of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we just went there and had a pizza and whatnot. And I was talking away to him about Hedera and the project and everything. And I said to him, "This is the first time I've ever actually had this level of conversation in person with someone because normally it's all online, because I can't talk to my friends this deep about things. Can't talk to my family. This is the
They'll
first
think
time.
You're crazy.
Yeah, honestly, it felt like it was like a relief of I can actually talk to a human being in person about this. But as you said, because it's Discord, it's Twitter, it's online, it's digital,
It's hard to transfer that to the real world until everybody starts to adopt it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I enjoyed it for that hour what it was. So I'm gonna have to we'll meet up again, obviously, just to get that fix of talking Web3 with a human. So
yeah, the sigh of relief.
It's always good to have that outlet.
Yeah,
be able
definitely.
To just speak your piece.
Yeah, for sure. That's it.
Well, Chief, you're amazing.
Yeah,
you got a great mindset on your head, and I mean, more or less, you have a great vision for your project.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
it. It's exciting to see because with that, I mean, like, there's not a lot of projects. I mean, I've never really heard of any projects out there doing what you're doing already, and it's a lifestyle project, almost, you could say.
That's it. Yeah, it's a lifestyle project. It's a lifestyle brand, cultural brand. And that's why I'm excited by this. But that's why I don't want to get it wrong. Because I want to make sure that we get it right. So obviously, which we've shown before. So we've had obviously. It's a Rode mic, but it's branded up with the Loco Lizards. We've got the mic heads printed. So then, obviously,
are those stickers on the bottom base?
So these are So this is a Rode mic. This is for anyone who wants this setup. Then obviously that's a cube. Then you just obviously get your print what you need, and then these are printed on. These heads. So I'm just testing out a few different ones at the minute. But obviously, when when I've got the presenters out there and they're presenting, and we're not talking about NFTs here, we're just asking silly. So basically, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy questions.
You're asking like girls just random questions and stuff like that to go viral. more or less, right?
So basically, like, tell me your most drunkest story, or tell me what's the craziest thing you've done on a night out. What's the craziest thing you've heard? So that's the type of content that we're going to be doing, trying to get the views, basically.
The content, that type of content blows up.
Exactly.
People are obsessed with that content.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's what we're doing. So that's what I'm saying. All winter we're going to be smashing it out, daily content, and I think it's going to be quite new to Twitter because you see it on TikTok and Instagram, but you don't really see this in the NFT space. So soon we're going to have all this funny content going out on our Twitter, all branded up with the logos and stuff. And I think we will start to gain that momentum on Twitter as well then, while growing TikTok, while growing Instagram, while pumping out YouTube shorts, and then doing it on Ibiza Bible as well, picking our best videos, putting them on there so that traffic then flows back to us as well. So there's method to the madness here. He's just
Yes, there is.
He's just plugging it together.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
being
for the
strategic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the day that I'm going to see a 24-hour Ibiza Tiesto stream.
Yeah,
Sponsored by Loco Lizards. That man's crazy. 24-hour sets.
Yeah. I don't know how he does
it.
I couldn't do it no more. I'm getting too old for that. I wish I could. Like, I'm just going to go to bed and then I'm going to come back.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go collapse and I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
You just run the stream on loop, and so it looks like you keep on going for that 24 hours, but you only went for 12.
Yeah. People will probably forget.
That's it. I can still party, but like for a shorter window. So like I can still go loco, but like maybe for 8 hours or something. Then I need to go to bed. Get up in the morning.
Pequeño loco.
Yeah. Pequeño loco. For sure. But like I've still got friends out there who are similar age to me, and Ryan as well. He's I think he was 34 yesterday, but so I'm 37 in a couple of weeks. But he can still party. Like, but I'm a bit more.
It really just comes down to your health.
Yeah, for sure.
Taking care of your body is a big factor in how long you're able to last on these parties.
Your physical health, mental health, and that's the thing. I find it quite funny because a lot of the people who I used to hang about with in Ibiza and stuff who are similar age to me now, they've all moved into kind of like holistic roles now. So some will be like yoga teachers, some will be like, dishing out medicinal herbs or whatever, because and I've wrote books. I don't know if you know about the books that I've written, but I can tell you about it.
No.
Basically everyone who's fried their head a little bit when they were younger in Ibiza, they're all trying to mend it now they're a bit older, and to get that healthy body, healthy mind. But yeah, I've written a couple of books, but focused on anxiety specifically, mental health books, bestsellers on Amazon.
Congrats.
Thank you. Sold over 20,000 books. So I have one for adults, and then one for teenagers as well. They're also represented by an international agent, so they've been published into Korean. They've been published into Russian through publishers out there and distributed around there. So I've got a big background in mental health. In terms of when I was younger, I had a long period where I suffered quite badly with kind of health anxiety. And as I've got older and, more settled with my wife and kids, I've been able to get a good grip on that and a good understanding of it. And I just wanted to be able to create something, a tool that could help people who were in a similar boat to how I've been in the past. And I just made it really simple. Because a lot of the books that I was reading when I struggled previously were overcomplicated, they didn't engage me, and I wanted to create a book that you could read on the toilet and you could kind of go to one page and you could get all the information you need in that page. So it's full of tips, basically, 150 tips to help you. So I'm really proud of it. It's been out a couple of years now. Still sells okay. But yeah, so I've got that, as I was saying, so I've got the books there, which I'm really proud of as well. No plans to write any at the moment because I would have no time whatsoever with the project.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I've done it.
And you did it for a good reason.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. To help. I feel good about that.
And that should really be one of the main reasons that, it's a big achievement.
Yeah.
To sell over 20,000 books to people who are truly needing it, and you probably changed a good amount of lives through those books.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've heard some really nice stories from people who've read it. People who've been in hospital or people who've been going through certain things or whatever, and so that feels good when you do hear that. It was interesting. Excuse me. I heard Hangry the other night say he was an author as well.
Yes.
And obviously he wrote an academic book and he'd illustrated as well. I thought that was quite cool, actually. So, some similarities there. Now I just need the 10mm volume, and then we're pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So
maybe he'll add you to the cabinet.
Yeah, that's it. Now he knows I'm a writer too. Yeah. No, it's good.
Now, Chief, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the Alt Kings podcast that would just about the future of Loco Lizards and or just anything coming up with the project?
No, not really. Just we are fully focused, on exactly what we're going to do. We're working hard at it. We're learning day by day, building day by day. Really excited to see where this goes. Really glad to be on Hedera. And yeah, it's an exciting time, isn't it?
It's very exciting. Very exciting.
Build through the winter. And one thing I will say is that I truly, truly believe in Hedera and the direction that it's going in. Not just the NFT space, but everything about it is not financial advice, but for me, I see this coin, to the moon.
To the moon. Yep.
HBAR to the moon. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Great project as well.
Yeah, I like that. So yeah, that's all I'd say really.
Thank you, Chief, for everything that you've
Thank you,
provided
Chief.
to our podcast and just the community out there watching.
Thank you guys for having me, and we'll catch up soon, hopefully.
Yes, definitely. We'll definitely love to have you on in the near future. Let's say next May, June area, whenever you're out in Ibiza, having the time of your life.
Sure. And then when we've got that huge volume by then, you can come over and we can do it in person.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Well, you're all good. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you next episode. Peace.
Peace. Cool.
Nice.